Hi, I am Sam Yogi. Today it's September 8th, 2025. Welcome to the Krishnamurti podcast. This is episode 44. In today's episode, we delve into Krishnamurti's take on laziness and what it truly means to be awake. K asks, can a lazy person free of conflict simply exist without effort? The surprising answer, true laziness is rare, and usually what looks like inactivity is actually a mask for inner turmoil. Over time, this quiet avoidance can lead to a kind of living death. K reminds us that understanding oneself isn't about forcing action, but about seeing clearly what is happening within. In this episode, we explore the hidden cost of laziness and what it means to live fully aware through a question and answer session from K's third talk in 1933 at Oman, the Netherlands. The question is, how about the lazy person who has no conflicts but who is also lazy and inert? Does he not have to discipline himself, make himself do something in order to understand? Krishnamurti's answer. Surely the lazy person has his own reward. Why should he be lazy? I think certainly it is stupid to be lazy because one does not understand. If you are lazy and it gives you satisfaction and contentment like a cow, what harm is there? If you are satisfied, if you are content, you may be lazy. But unfortunately, there is no such person. He may be lazy, but there is something going on, eating his heart out, and gradually that laziness covers up his pain. So he dies. He is living, though he is dead. So this is the first part of his answer, and the key points or main ideas can be summarized as follows. Number one, laziness as a kind of self-contained state. K suggests a truly lazy person might feel content and satisfied like a cow, and in that rare case, laziness could exist without harm. Number two, laziness is usually not harmless. In reality, laziness often masks internal conflict or unresolved pain. Even if a person appears inert, something within is eating at his heart, implying suppressed struggles or dissatisfaction. Number three, the illusion of contentment. Outward laziness can conceal inner turmoil. Over time, this avoidance leads to a kind of spiritual or emotional death. One lives though he is dead. Number 4, understanding requires awareness, not forced discipline. K challenges the assumption that laziness can be overcome simply through discipline. True understanding comes from awareness of one's inner state, not from mechanical effort. So we have finished the first part of case answer. Before we go into the second part, let me set the introduction for the second part. In this part, K challenges the idea that discipline leads to real action. He explains that forcing ourselves through discipline only creates false activity, mere motion without a meaning. Real action, he says, comes from living fully and directly, not from self enforcement. It is life itself, with its conflicts and challenges, that shakes us out of laziness and awakens us to genuine living. Now let's hear K in his own words, and I'll read out this part, the second part of his answer. K. You ask me, does he not have to discipline himself? That is such a false thing. If he wants to be lazy, he does not want to discipline himself in order to be active. You think by discipline, naturally, you will be active, but that is such a false activity. It is like moving a thing from one place to another, which is what most people consider to be action, doing something. Please don't misunderstand. One must work. I am not for the man who sits quietly with his sure income. One must live, and therefore, living is action, and no amount of discipline will awaken him to real action. What will awaken him is the continual conflict with life. It will shake him out of his laziness. What are you to do? What are you to do? You cannot shake him up. You can if you are a reformer and reform him to a certain mold, which you have done. So the answer ends here. And what do we find to be the key points or the main ideas? They are as follows. Number 1, discipline as a false activity. Forcing oneself through discipline to be active does not create real action. It only results in mechanical movement, like shifting objects around, without true engagement or awareness. Number 2, true action is living. Life itself is action. To live fully is to act. Real action is not born of discipline but of direct contact with life, with meeting what is completely fully, engaging one's mind and heart without hindrances like pleasure, fear, authority, security, postponement, etc. Only then is one's action complete and one's life a full life. Number three, the insufficiency of imposed discipline. Discipline cannot awaken a lazy person to authentic living. Discipline only molds people into socially accepted patterns of behavior, not genuine understanding. Number four, conflict with life as the catalyst. What awakens someone from laziness is the unavoidable conflict and demands of life itself. Life shakes one out of inertia, the external enforcement, and what awakens someone from laziness is the conflict and demands of life itself. Number five, reform versus awakening. Reforms may shape people into molds, but they do not create true awareness. Real transformation cannot be imposed. It arises from direct encounter with life. So, this brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope Krishnamurti's words gave you something to reflect on. If you would like to explore more, you can visit my blog at samrockcafe.wordpress.com. I also write on Substack at samyogi.substack.com. Sometimes about yoga and sometimes about these podcast episodes. This one is in English and I podcast daily on Vedanta and that is in Hindi. And in my blog on WordPress and when I describe it on Substack, I first write usually this part, the English part, and then I transition to the Vedanta part. And if you do not want to spend time on Vedanta, and if you go to the blog, you can just read the first part and you will have a little more information and reflection on these podcasts. And if you like what you listen to today, consider sharing it with a friend and reflecting on this in your quiet moment. Until next day, may your listening open space for clarity, freedom, choiceless awareness. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.